We're being sued for $130 million. Today I'm going to show you that something that feels free and feels cheap in your content strategy is actually probably costing you far more than you realize. If you're a marketer or a brand leader, you're probably under the pressure to squeeze budgets, move quickly, and pump out content. Music often feels like the easy part. Grab a trending track, drop it in, and jobs are good in. But that shortcut has actually cost brands millions. I'm going to walk you through the stories, the risks, and how teams are unknowingly burning thousands and thousands in staff costs trying to fix problems that never needed to exist in the first place. And I'm looking at my screen because I'm going to show you some of the slides and show you some of this stuff because it blew my mind when I read through this. So what you'll leave with is a simple framework to avoid anything that we talk about, protect your brand from any legal risks, wasted resources, and overnight content meltdowns. So let's start with the real world example. Okay. So imagine walking into your office and hearing this line: "We're being sued for $130 million. And I think I'd be pulling that face shortly followed by a crying face. So what is the case study? So Sony Music audited Marriott International's content and found 931 instances of songs being used without proper licenses. The liability was estimated at $130 million, and that's based on, in the US, you can be sued $150,000 for each piece of content that is breaching the music licensing laws. There we go. I forgot that was coming up. Brands are no longer getting away with loose usage. Labels are being serious now, and they're not just waiting until you've had one $150,000 instance. The scary thing is they're waiting for years until you've racked up, the 931 instances, because it's actually part of their business model. So what is the bigger pattern? Marriott isn't the only brand facing this. The music rights enforcement is ramping up across the industry, mainly because they're seeing it as an income, and actually as a strategy they're winning time and time again. And we're seeing posts that are muted, accounts that are flagged or even removed completely, and I'm sure you've seen and felt that. Brands that ignore licensing now are facing both legal and operational headaches. So let's delve into a little bit of why. So like TikTok and Universal in 2024, TikTok's licensing deal with Universal Music Group collapsed. And overnight, content relying on music from Taylor Swift, from Drake, from Billie Eilish, and others went silent. You imagine the headache. Imagine working on campaigns for a huge client of yours and suddenly everything's silent. Like it just makes all of that content like irrelevant. Paid campaigns lost their soundtracks. Viral posts became silent films overnight, and teams scrambled to replace the music that fitted, sometimes creating inconsistent or jarring results. And let's not forget that clients have paid for your time to create that content in the first place, let alone then having to recreate it yet again. So that was the brand chaos. Social and marketing teams spent hours patching content last minute. Paid ads needed new tracks. Organic posts lost engagement completely. And not just wasted money, staff hours were lost. This is another cost that doesn't get considered. Creativity stifled and campaigns were delayed. I think this highlights the hidden operational cost of not owning or controlling your music. And so what is the real risk? Well, relying on trending music you don't control is the ticking time bomb here. Licenses can vanish, deals can change, and suddenly your content is gone or it's illegal. And let's also consider the algorithm now is kicking up videos from months ago. It's not just like a year ago a piece of content went out and we weren't covered and now the sound has been removed. Like that, those pieces of content are still cropping up, especially if you're making stuff for YouTube. That's a very evergreen platform. I still see TikTok videos from 6 months ago pinging up on my phone, same with Instagram. We're now in a world where content is a lot more evergreen and will pop up 6 months later. So if it happened 6 months, you can't just say, well, it's gone, let's just press on. Content that keeps coming up is still being affected. Your campaigns and budgets are at risk, not just for one post, but for entire campaigns as well. If you've got one piece of content that goes down and it's the missing link in an entire campaign, as you can imagine, that's a big problem. So this adds urgency, and it's not hypothetical. This really is happening now. This is a real life example that you can Google, you can read the full case yourself, and many more that are out there. So what are the hidden costs? Well, there's legal risk, potential lawsuits or fines, plus the costs of actually going through that process as well. Campaign disruption, silenced posts, delayed content, lower engagement. If you're an agency watching this, it might be a loss of a client off the back of this as well. Staff time, hours spent searching, editing, and replacing music that wasn't fit for purpose in the first place. You've got to repeat that process over and over again. And the cheap $29 a month, or for larger brands, it's more like $500 a month upwards into the thousands. If you're licensing or trying to license music, these costs will come out of the blue, because next time you're going to have these licenses. So if you've claimed that you're saving costs for clients and then this happens, and then suddenly you've got to say, we need to subscribe to a stock music library, it turns into a huge hidden cost very, very quickly. So what is the smart play? Control your music. Use licensed music that you own. Cheaper, safer, better long term. I would add into that having your own music created for you is an even bigger saving, especially long term as well. Audit your content regularly. We actually have a piece of software that we can analyze the last 50 or 100 posts on all of your channels, and it feeds back to you a sheet that your team can fill in very, very easily with a drop down on whether you have a license or not. So you can be in control of whether your content is audited. So know what's in your posts and know where it's licensed from. Have the license attached to that sheet as well. Is a huge bonus. If you want that, ping me a message. I'll send it over to you. It's totally free. Plan for longevity. Music trends and licensing deals shift pretty fast nowadays, and you want to plan ahead to avoid that disruption. And finally, this is about both risk mitigation and freeing teams to focus on creativity rather than firefighting problems. Every moment that is fixing one of these problems is a moment that's not being spent enhancing the experience of your current clients and creating forward-thinking content. Summary. Ask yourself, has your team ever had a campaign disrupted by music licensing changes? I'm pretty sure the answer will be yes, but use it as a little mini workshop with your whole team. Ask the question. With the right strategy, you can future-proof your content, protect budgets, and get creative freedom back. And finally, music doesn't have to be a risk. It can be a brand asset, and it can have a huge strategic advantage with all the work that you are doing. So I hope that's been, I flew through that, but I hope that has been useful. I hope that's been something to think about if you haven't thought about it before. Maybe you've been through one of these pains. Maybe you are the CEO of Marriott International watching this, in which case I feel for you. I'm sorry you went through it. But hopefully, more importantly, this helps you avoid any of these problems in the first place, or give you some maybe ammunition to take back to your team if you've been pushing for this and you haven't managed to get anywhere with the conversation and nobody's taking you seriously. Either way, I hope this has been helpful. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you want any links to have any of the conversations that I've mentioned, if you want to take that free template, or if you want us to do the free audit of your content, just find the link down in the description below, or wherever you're finding this, it will be attached. And get in touch. Let's have a conversation. Let's hop on a call, plan a strategy, see where you're at now, see where you want to be in 12 months, and build that roadmap. Then you can leave with that, or that can be the start of our journey of working together. Either way, see you in the next video. Thanks for spending your time with me.